you read a lot of these books, Old China Hand, a guy who's been in China for years, all these China advice. I'm just a guy who lived there for 10 years, and I still think I am miles away from understanding some of the things that happen there. I keep learning, I keep trying, but it's amazing the differences between us. I was very fortunate to actually see Daniel Pink. He was in Vancouver last week, and I was a reporter. I do a bit of writing for the HRMA magazine, People Talk. So I had a backstage kind of access, all areas pass, and I had a conversation with him, and I talked about his book. In his book, he talks about how right-brain people are going to inherit the world. Now, what we mean by left brain and right brain, and I'm going to get into this, is we have a tool that HR people use, and there's many, many tools to assess people's personalities, right? You've all gone to jobs, and you've been said, we'd like you to do Myers-Briggs. We'd like you to do HBDI. We'd like you to do Gallup's Strength Finder. All these different tools, but they basically paint a profile of how you behave. What I began to find when I was in Asia for a long time is that the culture drives people into a left brain way of thinking. What I mean by that is, and again, these are generalizations. It's very tough to group an entire group of people, but as a rule, people are, the learning, the education system, it's rote learning, so people are driven into a left brain way of thinking. What I mean by that is they're analytical, they're sequential. You might look at professions like accounting. You might look at professions like, I don't know, possibly legal profession. Very attention to detail. Someone mentioned attention to detail was one of their strengths earlier. Very attention to detail. I think in North America, we're a little bit more of an individualistic and a little bit more of a creative society. And I believe as a whole in business, that's our strength. So a lot of people get scared off and they think, well, China's rising so quickly. That's a huge opportunity for everyone in this room. No matter which way you look at it, it's an opportunity. And we're going to explore that as we carry on. This is a true story. One of my clients in China was Liverpool Football Club. And actually, I didn't realize this, but Liverpool Football Club is owned by, partially, like 5% or something, by LeBron James. So I actually went out and had a dinner with him. I mean, those are the kind of things that can happen in China because it moves so quickly. And if you're able to be versatile and move with it, you can catch a lot of opportunities. That's my family there on the right. So interesting. Nobody speaks any English. A lot of people stare at me, a bit confused. I can't believe that this has happened. Right. So behind the Great Wall of China. This is the title of an academic piece that I've recently submitted to a journal. It was actually accepted. I'm very happy about that. Talking about the differences between the two countries. And I'm going to expand that into a book. I meant to say this at the beginning, but I will have slides for you. If you wish me, I can either give them to Roger, or I can email them, or you can email me if you wish the slides. But I'd also like to give you the copy of this document because I think you'll enjoy it very much. Now, some facts that we may or may not know. Has anybody ever seen, well, first of all, has anyone ever read this book by Martin Jacques about When China Rules the World? I heard one person go, haha. I don't know what that means, but does that mean someone read the book? No? Okay. Fantastic book, a lot of facts and figures, but it talks about the inevitable. The inevitable is when you have 1.4 billion people and you have economic growth and you have stability and you have a mindset and a culture of entrepreneurship, you are going to grow your economy. And we've all seen the growths. I know it's slow now at 7%, but when I was there, it was 10, 11%. It was absolutely rocking. You had people, and I always pronounce it wrong. Anyone can correct me in the audience. I believe it's Tao Cha, job hop. People were going from job to job to job to job to job because there was just so much opportunity in the country, and there still is. So as you can see, by 2050, it's just off the charts. China is, in some people's estimation, already overtaken the United States as the largest economy in the world. It depends on how you gauge it, but certainly in the next year or two, 3 years at the most, it will be. That's an opportunity. A lot of people sit in the audience and they go, oh, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Wow, we're not number one, we're number two, we're number three, whatever. I don't want to hear that. Actually, that presents an opportunity. But it only presents an opportunity if you look at what I just talked about, if you want to go after or take chances, calculated chances. And how do we take calculated chances? We understand the risk by doing research, understanding who we're dealing with. China now has twice as many graduates as the US. Another fact, what do you think the largest English-speaking country in the world is? Exactly. You ever think of that? It is. Some more interesting things that are culture-related that have a direct, and I'm hoping by the end of this presentation, it will fuse in and you'll realize how crucial and important understanding the culture is to your success. You will not be successful at anything you do in China if you don't take time to understand the culture. I would say in Shanghai, a lot of things have already been done, if that makes any sense. There are still opportunities there if your products are unique and they're really different. But again, do your research. I always say to people, if you've got something, have a well-calculated trip to China. And I suggest that if you do those trips, the first time I ever went to China, I went with the British consulate. And I know certain chambers of commerce here offer the same thing, where they'll help you to get meetings in your industry. So you can get out there, see it. Because to see it, until I went there, I read so many books, Mr. China, China King, all these kind of books about how to make it in China, until I got there, completely different from what. You know, they always say to you, you have your book smart person and you have your person who's actually lived it. And there is a contrast. There's some great books out there, but until you get there and see what your opportunities are, you really need to get there on the ground. Towards the winding down stage of my career and my time in China, I started off in the late 90s as basically, with all due respect, hey, I'm bragging. I started off as a management guru. I was going around to all these events, and you know what's funny is I would have the media show up at these events. So I'd be coming out, and I'd be doing a management training seminar. There'd be media in the room. There'd be people wanting my autograph at the end. I remember I went and did a training seminar at Ballard Power Systems here in Burnaby, and I had a stack of these books afterwards. I'd only been back in Vancouver for a few weeks. I had a stack of these books afterwards, my book, which is a prize tonight. A stack of these books, and I actually said to the lady afterwards, I said, because the session ended, and everyone was like, out of the room was empty. So I leaned over to her, and I said, listen, so where's the book signing and the autograph session? Remember, I had to relearn how to be a Canadian. To me, that was normal life for 10 years, that people wanted to talk about the seminar afterwards and usually get the slides, usually get a book, usually get an autograph. Totally different. And then she just looked at me like I was completely insane. Autograph signing? Are you serious, guy? Autograph signing?